Hey Coach, I'm Donny from Elevate Yourself. This is a YouTube channel.
Awesome.
So happy to cover you, but I've always been a fan of Canadian volleyball, and it's really great to see the rise of both programs, but especially with you at the helm. Pretty meteoric rise recently. So I'm a coach myself, so I'm always fascinated with big changes with pretty much the same athletes.
Yeah.
So how did you facilitate this pretty intense rise of the women's program?
I think people give me far too much credit. I think, we have some amazing athletes, and, right when I took over, Tom Black did a great job of qualifying this team for VNL, and then we were able to stay in every single year, playing, 35 games a year against the top teams in the world, rather than just the ones in our confederation is a huge part. It helps develop athletes quicker. We can also then recognize our gaps easier, so we're not just evaluating our gaps within the continent, but we're looking at our gaps against the best in the world. And then every year we get to put into that practice. Okay, how do we fix some of the things that we need to fix, and then is it working? So it's like the ultimate test case. And then our athletes, they're playing in the best leagues now, and it's a big difference. When you get athletes playing in top leagues throughout the season, that's where they're developing. We get very little time on the national team to develop athletes. My job is really just to identify what can we change, what can't we change, and what can we do to kind of fix it. And I think early on in the quad, it was really just keeping perspective. Like, let's not lose sleep over the things that we're not good at yet. So what are we good at? What's our style of play? First contact can be a challenge for us, so let's develop a style of play around that. And I think that really helped as well. But lots of things. I mean, it wasn't just one thing.
Okay. Sorry, I just realized I got so excited about the interview, I forgot to give you a mic. Actually, that answers the second question. Like, how would you describe the Canadian women's system of volleyball? I know it's a pretty broad question.
That is a really, really broad question.
Maybe like top three aspects?
We're a pretty good blocking team.
Okay.
We want to make sure that our serving is allowing our blockers to do the work. So we want 6 rotations of tough serving. That's not just in like what we teach, but also like how we use our subs as well. You'll see we use the serving side quite often. We're not the only team to do that. But also we know that our high ball game and our out of system play need to be excellent. And we need to be excellent off a medium pass. That means running our full offense up to about 4.5 meters. Bree's a phenomenal setter, but we have to be able to run in system quite a ways out.
It's crazy. Yeah, you guys are in system up to like 15 feet off the net.
I work in metric, but that's about right. We do, and we spend a lot of time working on how we run off a medium pass. And we consider a medium pass, that's positive in our gym. And we aspire to, we're still working on passing. We're really, working on how we can be better on first contact, but let's not lose sleep over that, because that's really hard to change within a quad. So how can we adapt our game to do that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Last question. How do you connect with players? Like, how would you describe your coaching style, and how has that been allowed you to, like, how do you connect with players? Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Sure. I mean, that's a really hard question to answer. I think as a coach, we have quite a big program, a lot of players. I think it's unrealistic to think I'm going to connect with every single person in, really, really well. But I never want to lose the relationship game. I try and treat them as people. They're people first. Our relationship matters. So I want to learn about them. I want to know them as a person, what drives them, what motivates them, what's important to them. And I also want to show the human side to myself. I definitely, I show my errors. I tell them when I get things wrong. I try and be accountable for, the things I can do better. And that human side is really, really important to me. So if we're going to lose a game, we're going to lose a game out there. I just don't want to lose a relationship game. So work hard at it, but I don't want everybody to think like it's absolutely perfect. Like that's hard to do. We're people, right?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
I'll take the mic.
Those are great questions, by the way.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
But it's really, pleased to meet you too. It's been really great watching you live. I've always seen you on TV, but to hear the sound of your spikes is a different one. So I got a couple questions here. You're known for a powerful player. Is that something that was natural, like athletic, or did you have to train that?
That's a good question. I mean, I grew up playing lots of sports, soccer, softball, basketball. I love the sports and I miss playing all of them. I was typically one of the athletes that was used in the roles that would be kind of more the power, and even in soccer I would be the person mostly in defense so I could clear the ball when needed, and softball as well. I remember when I was a kid they would put me in the outfield, which made me so upset because I wanted to be like more in the play, but I was the kid who could throw it the furthest. So it's definitely a gift that I have, but I worked hard to make sure that I can stay healthy and build on that gift to be where I am now.
Okay. And with that note, I'm glad that you still work on it, because I think that gives hope to other athletes that I can develop that power too.
Yeah.
What is your top 2 favorite exercises in the gym to want to like When you're like, if I don't do this, I'm not going to hit as hard. If I do this, I'm going to destroy people tonight.
That's a tough question. I don't know if I had specific work, like I have to do this every single time.
Yeah.
One thing that I have noticed, and I've had help with from some people back home in Canada, they've been really good at noticing that I'm a strong girl, but a lot of the time my body isn't connected very well. And so being really strong in my core and making sure that I'm doing these exercises that are like unilateral and making sure that my whole body is working together in these movements so that I can use my strength, my full strength, and I can use that into like what I'm doing. And that I've really noticed, especially this season, has really benefited me and given me more power and just I feel healthier and stronger.
Yeah, being able to do more with less effort and less injury.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, sounds like you guys got a great coaching staff or a great strength conditioning staff there. I noticed you're wearing, are those No, those aren't
KD.
KDs?
Yes.
Okay, and so I love shoes. I talk about shoes, I do shoe reviews. Why did you choose these shoes over so many other options?
My feet are actually very picky.
Okay.
I get like lots of pain in my feet if I wear the wrong shoe. I've worn these and the model before them for a couple years. I switched because I couldn't find them. And I think I changed maybe 4 or 5 shoes within the summer because I was in pain trying to find them. And so eventually I found them again and I keep going back because my feet, I also land very heavy. And so I need basketball shoes to help absorb that force that's going to the ground. And so far I found that these ones have been the most beneficial for me and I don't feel them and that to me is perfect. I don't feel the shoe.
And that makes sense. I've worn the Kyrie's. For me, I'm a lighter athlete, and so I felt like the cushion was too much. Like I couldn't spring up. But it makes sense for such a powerful athlete that is going to land with more force. You need a little bit more support to decelerate the body.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that they still make those. And the KDs have great traction.
They do. They are good. And I don't feel like I have pretty bad ankles too, so I don't feel like I'm going to roll sometimes with the LeBrons I had. I liked how they fit and they felt good, but a couple times I felt like I was going to go over on my ankles. So I've tested a few and so far this is my favorite.
Absolutely. LeBrons, they're not as wide on the sole because he's an athlete that's more straightforward. KD and Kyrie are more shifty. And so their shoes, that's why they have more lateral support. Because LeBron doesn't move like that. He's just going straight to the rim.
Good to know about Kyrie.
If there was another position that you could play and it can't be opposite, what would it be?
It would be position 4 or outside. I played that in my 2 years of college and all through my young years I was an outside, so I would love to go back there and be able to. Position 4 is so fun for me to attack. It's a game and I see the block a lot better in position 4, so I have a lot of fun there.
You get to pass, you get to do other things.
And defense, I love defense, so position 6.
You have some great defense. You know,
thank you.
The stereotype for opposites is they don't do defense, but you had this she crushed it down the line and you just dug it perfect, right in the mic. So that's really, that's probably from all your outside hitter experience. Yeah,
and I don't know, I think also I play goalie a little bit in soccer too, so I'm so used to the ball just having to get in the way. I'm not afraid. I mean, I trust that I'll dig the ball here and I'll dodge the ball if it's up high, and so I'm ready to dig it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Well, I think the multi-sport aspect is so important for our youth athletes.
Yes.
People get injured from doing one thing, right?
Exactly. So I think it's very important.
So what's your favorite pre-game meal?
Ooh.
And what time do you eat it?
That's tough. I mean, I like to eat not super far away from the game, obviously not right before the game, but I like to have a good solid meal, whether it's pasta or a good bowl with rice and my veggies and protein. It just really depends on the day, what I'm feeling on that day. I don't like to limit myself to one meal because when you're traveling so much, you don't know if you're going to get it. So you got to find what you got to find and do what you got to do there.
So some type of light, simple carb with some protein close to the playing time?
I kind of do. I make sure I have the 3. I have a carb is very valuable for me to go and be able to have that energy and that sugar to go and compete. And obviously the protein is very valuable and having some sort of veggie in there as well. I like a little bit of everything.
Okay. Last question. Who's your favorite volleyball player of all time?
I don't know. That's so tough. I mean, growing up, volleyball wasn't super big in Canada. I didn't know that it was such a big sport internationally, and so I didn't watch it until I started playing national team, really. So if I would have had to pick somebody, I can't even think of it right now because there's so many that could be amazing, but I've probably missed a few. growing up, just because
okay.
I wasn't in the world of it.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
of course. Thank
All right,
you.
good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
All right. One thing I really enjoy watching about your setting is no matter what position you're in, there is a very consistent location and softness to the sets, but it's still fast. I feel like most setters are either kind of slow and high or kind of fast and jammy, but you always give your hitters a lot of options, even though it's at a faster set. So how do you do that on a technical level?
Oh, thank you. We definitely play a fast offense with Canada, and our attackers are all really physical and jump really high, so it's important that I give them height with speed. I think footwork is first and foremost. I need to get the ball at the highest spot I can get it every time, and I can't do that if my footwork isn't great and efficient. So getting my feet to the ball and being squared is kind of base system for me and how to get speed and height and quality all together.
Okay. And I saw a couple tight sets where you do what I call the fireball set, where your hands are like this. Is that something you practice, or did that just come out in just kind of a necessity?
I think that's just come out as I've grown up as a setter.
Okay.
You kind of just get the touch for more options and tight balls, and that's kind of become something that's helped me save tight balls sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I noticed that out of system, you guys push it all the way to the antenna, and then another country like Turkey, they kind of hang it inside. What's the philosophy of the Canadian offense as to why you guys tend to do that?
Normally, if I'm setting an out-of-system ball, I'm still trying to keep some sort of tempo so that my hitters can use all of their angles, including edge and off the block. All of our hitters are really good at that. So unless I'm setting like a true high ball, then I'm still trying to give them the option of using the block out line. So that's kind of in my mind, just keeping that tempo with a bit more love, I would call it, in the ball.
Yeah. Okay. And you're currently playing professionally in Brazil. Very different cultures between Canadian and Brazilian culture.
Yes.
And different styles of volleyball.
Yes.
I would love to pick your brain on, one, culturally, what's the difference and how have you adapted to that?
Culturally in Brazil, it's super warm, like warm people. Obviously it's also hot, but I mean, very friendly, very hospitable, very slow paced, very different than, I'm from near Vancouver, which is a very individual city. Everyone's kind of hustling all the time.
Yeah.
It's not like that at all, and I much prefer the culture in Brazil. I think it's just like a really healthy way to live there. Volleyball-wise, I think there's just a lot of skill over there. Ball control, everyone's playing since they were really young. The expectation for work ethic, just basic volleyball skills is really, really high. So it's kind of forced me to grow in those ways. It's really competitive. There's a few teams that are at a really high level, but the whole league is competitive. Anyone can lose to anyone. So that is a big responsibility as a foreign setter, obviously, to maintain a high level every single game all season. You don't really get days off. So it's been awesome for my development, I think, as a setter. And I'm going back for another year, so hopefully it keeps helping me get better.
Awesome. And then what adaptations, let's say you're 8 months in Brazil, you come back to the national team, what adjustments do you have to make to adapt to the Canadian system from the Brazilian system you're running?
I think just international volleyball in general, everyone's bigger, hitting harder, jumping higher. So that's always an adjustment in Block D especially. Our team specifically, we just have a lot of big weapons. So specifically we have 2 really world-class pin hitters. So what does it look like to get them going, but also using all of our tools? It's not always the most balanced offense, but how do I create space and keep tempo and all those things? So it's a bit different.
Okay. I love talking about shoes. I think personalities tend to match shoes, not just in look, but also feel. And every position has different shoes that meet different needs. So what is your favorite type of shoe to wear and why? And how does it pertain to you as a setter compared to another position?
I am sponsored by Mizuno, so I'm always in Mizuno shoes. I wear the lightest possible shoes I can wear because I'm running around a lot. And I'm tall for a setter, so I guess being extra springy isn't my priority. I just want to be fast and be able to get to balls quicker. A lot of smaller setters have that edge over me of kind of being a bit more dynamic, and I need to speed. Speed is a priority for me, so I'm just wearing light shoes that I can get around quickly with.
Are those the Wave Momentum 3s?
Yes, they're Wave Momentum 3s.
Yeah, I think those are the new ones. I'm about to test those. I just got a pair. But one thing I like about Mizuno's is, especially for people, I have wide feet and my toes need to spread. They're accommodating for that. They don't scrunch your toes in. and the traction is always dependable. No matter even though the gym floor is slippery, I know my Mizunos are going to be really sticky.
Love it.
So, last question. What is your favorite pregame meal, and how soon do you eat that before a match?
My favorite pregame meal is rice, salad, chicken, and I eat it 3 hours before a match typically.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of the tournament. Great to finally meet you. I've been following you through college at BYU. It's been really exciting. I'm Donny, by the way, from Elevate Yourself. It's a YouTube channel. Great playing. I really appreciate I think you bring a physicality to volleyball that I think it just makes it more exciting to watch.
Thank you.
You played in both Canada and the US, and I'm just curious on your thoughts on what are the differences between the two coaching styles as a whole. I know every coach is different, but how would you sum it up?
To be honest, it's pretty similar. I think definitely in college I was learning everything, changing up my arm swing, my approach, learning footwork, so that's a little bit different than now. I can't really compare, but I think our system here is different than BYU's practice structure.
Yeah.
We do a lot of 6-on-6. I don't know if that's because we're international, but a lot of focused 6-on-6, and honestly I can't remember it
That's
from college, but in college I definitely think it was more developmental for me.
Okay, so more the skill development, understanding the game.
Yeah.
International is game application and strategy.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And then I think you also you play in Turkey, right?
Yeah.
What has it been like playing for a third culture, very different? Like how would you sum up your experience playing under like Turkish style volleyball?
Yeah, I think Turkish fans of volleyball are really passionate.
Yeah.
Same with their players. A lot of yelling, screaming. I love it.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily my style,
Yeah.
but very passionate and also very technical in practice. We spend a lot of time working on like the simple moves, maybe on passing, like just high left, like, and we rep that out until like we're feeling good with that, and then we'll switch it up for the next day.
Yeah.
But I really do love playing in Turkey. The fans are amazing. They always come out and support, so it's a fun culture.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, it's a beautiful place, and I heard the food's good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cool. I'm also a shoe guy. I love talking about volleyball shoes and basketball shoes. You got Adidas on Crazy Flights?
Yes.
So, what is your reason for wearing those over other shoes?
For me, I switched about 2 years ago. I was normally wearing Nikes. This was kind of before they had the volleyball shoe out, so it was kind of getting taxing trying to find a shoe, and then they stopped making that shoe and over. So I really liked just how I could buy this shoe in any country, and it's the same shoe.
Yeah.
But I'm open to exploring, so
Okay.
it's a process.
Yeah. And I think as our bodies change too, because our feet grows, like our bodies get more muscular over time, especially as pro athletes, the needs will also change.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, you're still young and you're still going to increase your vertical too.
Thank you.
So, that the impact's going to change over time.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
What is your favorite pre-game meal, and how soon do you eat that before the match?
I try to get something simple. I don't like to overspice. Like, it's just a simple protein, usually chicken, rice, or some sort of grain, and I'll make like a leafy salad. It's usually pretty simple because I don't like feeling heavy on the court.
Yeah.
And that's usually like 2 to 3 hours before, and then during the match there's little snacks always going in, trying to get the carb, the sugars, keep energy levels up.
Yeah.
And we've really been trying to focus on the snacking in the game and in practice this summer, so I think it's really been helping, and trying to recover soon after the game with those, like whether it be another banana and like a bar, or we have protein in the room that we can all make a shake. So
Okay.
yeah.
And you felt a difference with the intermittent snacking
Yeah.
for next day or that night already?
Yeah, I think with our team, there's, at least with me, I play almost every game.
Yeah.
So I really have to focus on how to keep my body ready for 3 games in a row. So that's always been my struggle. I'm not a huge snacker in general, so it's been kind of, our physios are like, you need to eat now, like forcing me. But it's been good. I've been feeling good, and my body, like I'm almost 30, and I still feel like young.
Yeah.
So it's
You
nice.
play young.
Thank you.
I mean, you're crushing the ball.
Thank you.
That reminds me of a story from Zhu Ting, like the longevity of her career. hearing Lan Ping talking about how when she took over the program, she kind of forced her to drink because she's such a lean athlete like yourself. And so leaner athletes tend not to have a huge appetite all the time. But carrying tons of protein shakes and forcing her to eat throughout the day made a big difference in her longevity. So it definitely works.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's been helping me.
If there was another position you could play, and you don't have to be good at it, but let's say like coach is like, hey, you play anything you want tonight, what would it be and why?
I think libero.
Oh,
I
okay.
really like defense.
Yeah.
I love chasing balls down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's it looks fun. I'm sure it's not as fun as I think it would be, but I mean, I have played in 1 or 2 matches libero.
Nice.
I think that probably libero.
Well, yeah. Are you 6'3"?
I'm 6'2" in shoes.
6'2" in shoes.
Yeah.
You could be maybe the first 6'2" international libero.
Yeah.
Dude.
I played libero when we had VNL Rimini. I had an issue with my ab, and we had 2 really young liberos, so I played against USA in the libero jersey, so it was kind of fun.
So you got your dream come true already.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for talking. I really
you.
appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.